Welcome to Unit 3, Entrepreneurship, and today we're going to look at Lesson 2 and finish off the last part of the objectives. We have already looked at a number of things. If you go and play back the previous lessons we've had, you discover how many objectives we have already looked at. Just a very quick recap for you. We've looked at the cost-benefit analysis, and we ended with how to identify and describe other costs and benefits other than the physical ones. Physical simply means financial ones. And also we looked at how to calculate the setup capital and develop the financial schedule, and also how to identify the cost involved in setting up a business. And mostly this refers to a new business. And I trust that by now you've got to grips with all the principles and procedures. Now let us look at the next two objectives, which are how to seal the financial leaks in your business, and how to network with other businesses within the area and increase your circles of influence. Very quickly, we're going to go to slide lesson 2. I beg your pardon. The learning outcomes, I beg your pardon. The learning outcomes, how to seal the financial leaks in your business, and how to network with other businesses within the area. It means the area of your interest, and increase your circles of influence. First and foremost, I would like us to look at a definition of what a financial leak is. I like this definition. It says, a financial leak is simply a loss of revenue or earned money through stupid issues which are not related to business expenses. That's my own definition and my own inclusion. I use the word stupid issues which are not related to business expenses. They can arise either by lack of fiscal analysis, which is financial analysis, and careful planning, compulsive spending when cash is available in the business, uncalled for visitors in your shop, or giving of unplanned incentives to customers, unnecessary travel expenses, or failure to plan your business journey, and more. And you understand why, I beg your pardon, why I've put such kind of a definition. But let me take you to the internet and see what other people have said a financial leak is. I like this definition. Look, a leak or leaked. A leak to permit the escape, entry or passage of something through a breach or flaw. For example, the rusted pipes that were beginning to leak, a boat leaking at the seams. I like that bit. It says permit, to permit. You may not cause it, but you've permitted it. In other words, if you permit it, you've also got the power not to permit it or to prevent it. A leak simply means to escape or pass through a breach or flaw. Helium leaking slowly from a balloon. Does that sound familiar to you? You find that your finances are leaking slowly, informal, to become publicly known through a breach of secrecy, and it goes on. But I want us now to go back to our slide and continue the lesson. Now, financial leaks is rather like having a leaking bucket as below. I remember at one of the conferences in Manchester, which I attended a long time ago, one of the speakers from the DNK Associates, Mr. Troy Kaliata, did a very good presentation on the leaking bucket. And I borrowed a lot of ideas from there. So think of this bucket as your reservoir of finances. And you've got finances and the business is running and all what you make goes into the bucket. Now, if this bucket has got holes in it, definitely, depending on where the hole is, you're going to lose a lot of liquid in it. Let's see, look at this hole here, and look at that hole there, and look at that hole there, and that hole. A few of them have been sealed. I'll acknowledge where I got this image for education purposes. It's a Google Yahoo images. I've got a reference there. Let's have a look at potential causes. Number one, unplanned customer incentives such as random discounts. Sometimes if you're running a retail shop, you're doing retail or any other business, out of emotion or impulse, you just begin to make discounts because you see the influx of customers coming in. You say, wow, I don't want to lose them. If there was no plan, you find that you might have given too much money away than you've received. Just having the hype of seeing people coming in does not translate in finances. If you want to make a good deal with this, you got to do the reverse, the opposite, plan. You got to plan. Now let's look at other causes. Lack of physical analysis and careful planning. Financial analysis, for example, a projection. You've got to have two things in your business. The financial schedule, which shows how much you spend per month, which can be calculated per quarter and per year. How much does this cost your business to run effectively? How many workers you have? How much the total wages, administration, insurance, stationery, and more. The financial schedule is critical, and then you make a projection based on the pricing for your commodity. From there you see where you can have a break even or not, and what you can do to be able to offset certain expenses. With that kind of analysis, you put your business into perspective. In fact, Unit 3 cost benefit analysis, that lesson does teach you how to do this. So lack of financial analysis can be a cause of financial leaks. Next, unnecessary travel expenses or failure to plan your business journey. This is one of the common areas where people find losing money because they just travel and travel. You can hear that people are looking for this product in that town. But before you travel, you've got to plan it. Plan your expenses against what you expect to come out. You can't just go anywhere. What's going to be a return? Because a business person and an entrepreneur wants to make a profit. If you've got 20 customers here who are buying your product, and there's one customer out there who's going to buy one product without giving you any returns in terms of linking you to other customers, probably it's not necessary. You can do it the other way around. Let them come over. But if it's going to be opening a door for you to a bigger market, that expense is justified. Some people, because they know that they can claim travel expenses against their business, they just get on with travels. So I would like you to learn how to plan your journeys. Another cause of financial leak: uncalled for visitors in your shop or giving of unplanned incentive to customers. This, in some cultures, is very, very rightful, very common, whereby a shop is open, you see your cousin working a shop because you love them so much, you take things off the shelf, you give them, without you actually putting money from your pocket, your own personal money, into the till. When you start doing stock taking, find that there's a shortage. Who was a thief? You, because you took that money from that item from the shelf, or that product from the shelf, you give it to somebody who is your relative or a visitor, whom you thought, wow, I can do something for them. But you forget to replace with the equivalence of cash from your own personal money to feed the business. There must be a distinction between you and the business. You and the business are not the same. Even if you're a sole trader, there must be a distinction between you and the business in terms of the way you perceive and operate. If you don't do that, you find that you'll be mixing a lot of things and making losses without knowing. So it's important to understand how the business functions. Its lifeline of a business is cash flow. If you are denying the business that cash flow, it won't function. So therefore, be mindful of the leaking bucket. Compulsive spending when cash is available in the business. Does that sound like you? I hope not, because it's very tempting when you make a big sale and you find that there's so much cash that has come to your business. Why don't you think about this? Pay yourself what is due to you and reinvest the rest, maybe in another vehicle or another business, maybe on the stock market, find a company that is doing very well, maybe in something that can reproduce more income as a result, rather than you just spend that much money you've made. These are some of the areas that you find your business is losing finances. There are more. You can define them. So at this point, I would like you to pause this resource, just pause the video, and write down things that has caused you to lose finances in the past. Once you identify those, I'd like you to write a few points on how you're going to reverse it. This image was obtained from Yahoo Image, and acknowledge it. It's for education purposes. Now, how are we going to seal the financial leaks? In one word, plan. How do we do this? Number one, plan your expenditure. You must have a book or a spreadsheet, whatever it is, where you have regular expenditure which is planned. With that in mind, you discover that you can control your financial leaks. It's simple and straightforward. How do you plan your expenditure? Look at how your business runs over a period of time. Look at those expenses which are predictable. Budget for them, because you need to spend money on those things at all times. Do that and you find yourself running better than before. Gifts. You've got also to take into consideration gifts, because giving is part of human nature. We do give in one way or another. How beautiful when you plan it. You've got to plan, get a budget for gifts. It could be seasonal gifts, or it could be incentives to back your business. But make sure you put those into context, and you must have a budget for that. Customer incentives. These need to be put into context so that when a customer comes in, if you spend 5% on them, you know you're going to gain 40% in return, because they're going to tell other people about it, and you can measure that. Sometimes people say to a customer, oh, here you are, here's a free gift. Tell other people about this. Here's a card. When they come, give them this card. So you can measure, because without you planning these things, you discover that you cannot measure anything because it's not planned anywhere. Regular fiscal analysis. Time and again, sit down on your computer, punch in the details of your income, punch the details of your expenditure. Look at how have I performed this month. Oh, why have I done so good? Therefore, I can do A, B, C, D. Therefore, I can reduce that or increase that. Once you get in the business or the habit of doing these things, you discover that you are in control of your business. Expenses can never just go out of your hand without you knowing where it's going and for what. What I'd like you to do is to add your own in these two blank spaces. Add your own. What would you do in order to stop your financial leaks? I'll just introduce networking very quickly, and I'll probably carry on this as a separate lesson. Now, networking. Business networking is a socio-economic activity by which groups of like-minded business people recognize, create, or act upon business opportunities. So you come together in one way or another, businesses that have the same mind or intercrossing. Sometimes it's also good to see what other people are doing in other camps. That is important. Now, a form of getting your voice out face-to-face or online, network systems, word of mouth. This is what networking is all about. Meetings such as business shows, conferences, workshops, social and community gatherings, business open day. Invite other businesses to see what you do. Make your details available online and papermates too. So when you get involved in networks, you begin to meet other people of like minds, and they get to know about you. Therefore, they take the word out there. Did you see that? Did you see that? Etc. An advertisement which can cost you £1,000 to put across can actually be offset by you simply attending a network meeting where you pay maybe £50 or £100 and you capture a wider audience. We'll continue this later on its own. I just wanted to plug in a quick introduction. At this stage, I'd like just to reiterate the objectives of our main topic, which was how to seal the financial leaks in your business, and then I'll go back to the lesson and deal with how to network with other businesses within the area and increase your circles of influence. Thank you very much.